everybody. I'm just here today. I am really working on building a stash of ephemera for the next couple of days, and I've been doing some die cutting, and today I'm going to try and do a little bit of watercolor. And I have these die cuts that I have just cut out, and I'm going to maybe try and use these as just a little bit of inspiration to get me started on maybe making some leaves that I can use for some watercolor leaves that I can use for focal images, and just finding inspiration in what I have lying around. And I'm just going to start out by making some nice leaf shapes and some stems that I can color in. Just kind of following along what I think these leaves could look like. I think that's nice. I'm just kind of making some shapes. I'm kind of keeping it loose and light. I'm trying something a little bit different. I don't know how this is going to come out. We'll see. It doesn't matter. No pressure here. We're just trying to do something a little bit different, a little bit fun. It's just a relaxing little exercise in creativity, playing with our items. Playing with our watercolors. I've been watching some videos, and it's just very inspirational, everything that everybody's doing out there. I'm kind of like using that as a starting point, trying to, do something that's a little bit fun and exciting for me today. Well, it looks like it needs to attach over here, so we'll just make it attach over there. Alright, look at that. We have a leaf. There's some stuff going on. These are obviously not really real leaves. I don't know any leaves that actually look like this in real life, but that's okay. They're kind of fun. Maybe AI made these. We don't know. Right? Probably made by AI. There we go. Let's do a couple more of those. Those are kind of fun. I like those little swirlies in the middle that they have. Just keep going until you're happy. I am really pushing myself to kind of do a little bit more and make this a little bit, more. I think that that's kind of fun. Kind of gotten into this very minimalistic kind of a thing, where I'm like, yep, that is the minimum that we can do, and I'm really pushing against that and trying to do just a little bit more. Maybe that was too much. We don't know. It's fine. I'm just going to color these in, and then maybe I'll do something over here. Maybe I'll just kind of do a leaf over here. And I'm going to kind of keep it in the same basic shape. We'll just do a big leaf that looks like this. I always like doing like 2 layers of lines, just really kind of sketchy, loopy lines. And then maybe this will have some lines coming off it like this. Some veins coming out to the sleeve. There we go. How's that look? Well, let's add some color, shall we? Let's start with a lighter color. I'm just going to grab a brush over here that might work and kind of keep this light and loose. I did not grab a brush beforehand. I've moved them all far away from where I'm at. That's kind of what I want. Kind of maybe something a little bit smaller than that, I think. Some colors here. I'm just going to pick up some of this lighter green. Put it in here. And maybe I want to spray this watercolor paper so it's got a little bit of water on it. Colors are going to kind of flow nicely on here. That was another thing I did not think to grab was my spray bottle. So I'm going to spray a little bit of water on here. I'm going to get it going since I didn't. The other way you could do this is, of course, you could just brush over it. That would be nice too. Alright, get the cat hairs out of here. Okay. That'll help us. So let's just go over this and kind of go along. Give it some color. I don't know why painting makes you kind of talk like this, like you're kind of trying to channel Bob Ross, you know, as one does. Spray a little bit on there. We're definitely going to want this green. You might want a little bit of blue as well. I think that might look nice, especially if we mix that. Let's just go in and try and get a little bit of this green going on. Kind of thinking about where these might be a little bit darker. Kind of come down these stems ever so nicely. It is so nice to just have a little bit of inspiration, kind of see things that you love, and then try and go back and see if you can make something that's yours. And that's one of the things I think that I just really love about doing, you know, creating an artwork, is just kind of taking things, you know, anything in life. You have so many opportunities to find great inspirations out there and, you know, just kind of go with those. I'll pick up a little bit of yellow in there. Make this a little bit lighter even. Brighter. You can go outside the lines. You don't have to stay inside those lines. Nobody said that. Right? Okay. I have like lots of colors out. I got out 2 sets of like paints. Here's a little bit darker green that I've already pulled out from something else. I was doing die cutting yesterday, and I have definitely gotten some die cuts all over everywhere. Just put a little bit of that in. Kind of give it a little bit of spray, get it really wet. See where that takes us. Give it a little definition. Sometimes if you add another color, you can add some highlights going on in here. You can kind of give these guys a little bit of color so you can kind of pop them out. right into there. What's going on with these? We don't know. So mix that with this. What might be fun is to add a little bit of another color to these two. These might have a little red in them, maybe. Add a little bit of red coloring. Kind of match with the green we got going on. Maybe this is like some sort of a calathea. Maybe those aren't fenestrations. Maybe they're like spots of color. Who knows, right? Get a little more color. A little more color. This is great. What else can we add here? Let's be brave. Let's add something. Something along the lines. I really like the way this one's coming out. Let's just add some red. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to go right into that with my same brush. Let's work that out, see what that's going to look like. I'm just going to come back in and I'm going to paint these kind of red. See what happens. Very bold choice here. It's a really nice day, I should say that. It's been raining here. Everything's very wet. What if we flick some red across here? That's kind of fun. Let that kind of go. Do what it wants to do. Let's spray that a little bit more too. Get some color. Just kind of going along. Can't do anything wrong here. How's that? What other colors might we want to fleek in here? For fun, I think some blue. I think some blue would look really great here. I'm going to rinse my brush out a little bit before I go into the blue. There we go. Got some blue. Let's select a little bit of this. I think that'll make that a nice kind of aqua-ish color. I'm going to do some brown, I think. Might look good. This is just kind of, let's go back. Pick up a little bit of this blue, kind of drop it in there. Just give some boinks of color here and there. I'm going to really add that blue in like it belongs. Get a little bit of shadowing, maybe along some of these lines. Just a little bit at the bottom here. Okay. Well, this is fun. Might as well make this one really have some color going on. I kind of like how this red is coming in here, really, honestly. Wasn't so sure about that, but, I think it looks pretty good. Fun, bold choices here today. I feel like I'm being very bold. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. It's okay. This is good for, beginners. Getting this in here. Just kind of, that's going to be some dark shadowing in there. It's got a lot of color in here. Maybe we've gone too far now? I don't know. We won't know really until this dries and we come back and look at it. And if it's got too much, then it's got too much. I really like that. I'm going to leave that like it is. And I might just add a little bit in here. A little bit in here in between. Just on the one side, maybe. Well, we'll see what that looks like when it dries. It's got some real bold color choices. I'm not super... You know, I really love it when plants are really like this dark green. It's like really, really dark green and then it's mixed with purple. That's really fun. I might try that on another thing, on another piece. I'm going to keep these the way they are. Kind of just let these dry. And then I'll come back and add some like highlighting with some marker and whatnot. But I think these are really fun as they are. I could have maybe packed them in, but I want to kind of cut these out and add them to some journal work and stuff. So this is, I mean, not a thing that I do all the time, so I'm pretty pleased with this. Just kind of the way that it is right now. A little more green in there, just kind of fill in. So I'll come back and like add some highlighting. I mean, I think that some of these are really, really pretty. I think this is a very, very bold choice with the red, and that's kind of what I'm going for. So, you know, try something different, try something new, see what might happen when we do something that we haven't tried. Because, you know, we can just try things. It's fine to just try things. I have little cat hairs everywhere. No, should have left well enough alone. Okay, well that's good. And bright and happy little thing. Let's let that dry for a little while, and we can come back to this in a bit. I hope you're having a good day. In the meantime, while we're letting that dry, let's try and do some fun stuff. This is just a piece of packing paper, and I'm just going to do some doodling. I kind of want to use this later, so I don't know. I wanted to work on some hash marks. I thought that would be really fun, and just make some marks and do some mark making with a pen. And this is a Sharpie, and I don't expect this to really run later. Let's just make some patterns here for this. And this, I mean, you know, if you don't want to draw like leaves, try that. It's always fun to just kind of make some marks. And then if you add some color, let's see what happens. I'm just seeing what happens today. I am just kind of trying to get my creative juices flowing. Go all in one direction and then in another direction. Keeps us fluid and resilient. And able to move off in any direction we need to go. Flexibility. That is important, isn't it? You could do this after too. If you wanted to paint and add some color to this first, you could certainly do that. You can turn it this way, work on it this way. I'm just playing with scraps at this point and doing something fun. I'm going to be making some, just mass making some things that I can use to build journals in the future and make some things. But for right now, I'm just kind of playing with doing some mark making. This is just kind of to get warmed up and do something a little fun before I do something that's a little more tedious, maybe. I mean, I don't really do anything too terribly tedious here. That is for sure. My marks are getting a little more curvy, which I kind of like. This is very cool looking like this. Let's go this way for a while. There's lots of patterns and things you can just repeat. It's kind of a meditative thing. It's not until you get in here and give it the good old college try. Where else do we need one going this way? Here. Then we'll turn it the other way. But, I mean, when you start repeating things, I think that's really kind of when magic kind of starts to happen. You can kind of change things and see how they change as you go along. And it's kind of fun and neat, and things will get improved or they won't. And right now I'm liking the way that this is improving. And don't you worry, I'm going to draw all these lines and then I'm going to go back and fill it in with some watercolor. Because why not watercolor on paper bags and things of that nature? Oh, I just found a haul. I was downstairs and I found some gold cardstock that was from, and somebody had just stuck it, probably me because I didn't want to deal with it at the moment. Under the bathroom sink, and it was this gold cardstock from inside of a gift basket of, you know, soaps and things like that for the bathroom, and I really like how that's kind of coming along. You see what I'm saying, where it just kind of changes? And I'm gonna put that in my stash to play with later. This is going to be very worthwhile. I've definitely kind of relaxed into this and kind of made a... Now I'm getting into this where I really like this. These are like almost two separate pieces. Creating. Which way does this go? This has got to go this way now. Ah! I got lost. Just a little lost. I think it's raining again. Meditating in the rain. I wonder if I can use that. I'm kind of looking for right now inspirational quotes for my mini maximal journal, which I kind of have decided I just want to fill that with sentiments and just beautiful, beautiful artwork. And I'm getting really inspired as I go along because I was kind of thinking of this as like a challenge to kind of push my boundaries. As I said, kind of been in this minimalistic kind of mood and doing a lot of things that I feel like are really kind of just enough, and I kind of want to break out of that and go into something that's just really richly layered and beautiful, and is going to kind of fill spaces and fill, and maybe go a little bit too far sometimes, because I think that I kind of want to play with that idea of, like, you know, where is too far. This has kind of a natural perforation. This was just packing paper that I got in the mail, and I had a big wad of it. So much so that I actually made an ephemera pocket, some pockets in a book to hold ephemera. Since I was going to be making ephemera, I decided I would just make myself a little book to hold it. And look at that. And look at how it changed from where I started to where I finished. And both of these are very cool, but I kind of like this one more. And I've already gotten it wet from where I had the table wet. So let's just go ahead. And I think I'm going to do a watercolor wash, and I'm just going to add some colors to this. Whatever kind of just strikes my fancy here. I'm going to pick up some of this fuchsia because I think this is like one of my favorite colors, honestly, to work with. And again, I'm just going to grab a big old brush. This is the biggest one that I see. And put a little water over this so that my watercolors will just being bold. This is going to dry. I'll smash it down if I need to. I don't really care. Get some water on here. Just soak this thing. Probably way more than we need. And that's just fine by me. I really like this fuchsia color. Kind of work that into there. It's great. And then add a little bit of this blue. Looks really, really good. It's a little bit darker than we wanted. It's okay. I don't know how this paper is going to really show up these watercolors, so all good. Just trying to add a little bit of color and background to this. I like the pink. I think the pink looks really good. Of course, it would look better, perhaps, maybe, I don't know, if I had really done this. Maybe add a little bit more over here. I don't know what I'm going to use this for. I might just rip it up. This is going to dry, and it'll look like the hash marks are below the color. So, again, you know, I made these so I could get this wet and let it dry. So I'm going to let this dry. And then one thing that might be really fun is to go back and add some, like, just... So there's that. And that could be a kind of a cool background for something. That is going to have to hang to dry. For sure. For sure. I'll have to hang that up and dry it somewhere. Paint everything. You know, try everything. That looks really cool. I like it a lot. I really like that down there where it's like that. Oh, it looks very cool on camera. Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyway, there's that. I like how you can kind of see through it. It's kind of transparent now. That'll be a fun thing. That could go in a journal by itself. Look at that. We are making some stuff. So I'm just making some background papers, some things that can be used. I have all of these little things over here that are more things like that. And grab another piece of paper. But anyway, that's what I'm doing today. While I'm doing this and have the watercolors out, why not just do some watercolor backgrounds on some of these pages These are just book pages from my stash. I might add a little watercolor to these. That might be nice. I kind of like these ones that have just like the number or something on them. And for these, I'm just going to add a little bit of water and a little bit of color, whatever color I'm really thinking. So I got my big brush. I'm just going to start adding a little bit of color here. Just around and around, kind of spread that out down there. And then maybe on the next one I'll do some pink. And I was thinking, you know, one of the things I want to make is make some bookmarks that are, or some paper clips that have these bows on them. I saw that on Treasure Books was doing that. So that looks like a really simple, easy thing that I can do later. I kind of want to try it with some like watercolor papers. On this one, I think I'm going to add the blue in there too. These are very wet paints at this point. I'll add a little bit of this blue. It makes a purple when it mixes together with these two colors because, you know, you have red and basically, I guess we could just make this all one big sheet. We could do that. I'm going to leave that, I think, just the way it is. I'm going to call this one done. I might come back and do some splatters on these as we go along. One thing I wanted to do, it's going to run. Okay, I'm going to set that aside. Add a little more water. I'm going to add some of this like darker mustardy yellow to this blue because that's kind of, I've been playing with this aqua and kind of orange palette, but I really like this aqua with like a sand type color. So I might just kind of dabber that around, and I like the way that these two colors go together. Of course, if I mix them, they're going to make green. This is a little bit more dry. Try a different kind of patting it in technique. It's not running as much because, as I said, it's a little bit dry. I really do like this mustard color. Get a little more water in there. Let's just see. Just kind of playing around. See what will happen. What color do we want this to be? Let's keep going with that yellow mustard. Kind of put it in here. Kind of just work it down. It's a very earthy, probably yellow ochre color. I don't know if this is set. That is going to tell me what colors these are. Could be fun to just color this one yellow. Kind of see. Just kind of flicking this at the bottom. And I'm going to hit it with the water. Kind of let that kind of do its own thing. I think that did turn a little green, and that is perfectly fine with us. Maybe add a little bit more of that. I'm going to run out things to place, things where they can dry. As I said, I'm making all these things of ephemera. I have frames in here, and it's now underneath my wet watercolor don't want to lose all of the things that I spent so much time yesterday making. So I'll throw those over there. What's a fun color that we have not used? Any ideas? Maybe we should add something to this. This must be brown. It doesn't really look brown. It's probably more like a burnt sienna color. I don't know if I want to go that far with this. I kind of want to keep it a little bit brighter than that. I might add then, let's go into black. Let's add some just black flecks. See what happens with that. Maybe add just a little bit of blue. See what we can do for that. I'm just grunging it up. Okay, let's not go too crazy. Looks very Halloween-y. I also have the idea that I want to make like a Halloween journal. I don't generally get in too much into doing things like Halloween journals. Yes. No, it's not really my thing. So now I have this black. Do I want to do anything else with that? I might just do some black flecks in the background of something. Let's just get another one of these. I like doing these and having these for making things. I like that. That looks fun. That looks very fun. Let's just do some black flecking on this one as well. Just leave it like that. Okay. That's easy enough. Like, it's just like, it looks a little bit like the ink is run or that it got some sort of mold. This one looks more like mold. That can be fun. We're doing a little bit of aging, if that's your thing. You can age these this way. We have our Halloween paper. Just playing around. Just playing around. I'm really kind of, this is really a color palette that I use all the time. It's the blue and the purple, and I kind of want to do something that's maybe different than that. What is more different than blue and purple? Well, if we think about it, if we want to go totally different, it would be orange. Yep, this is where we get into trouble. Purple is across from purple in the color wheel. Yellow and orange. We can do yellow and orange. We've already done yellow. We're fine. We're doing great. Really loving how this is coming out. Really loving this. And of course you can do the hash marks after the fact. Just depending on, since, you know, what you want to do with it. Color some paper. See what happens. Okay. I'm going to do a couple more book pages. I don't know if I can recreate this with the color palette that I have. But what I was doing is I had some acrylic paints, and I used a lot of green. I really haven't used orange and red. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. See if this is big enough to actually show up on here. I'm just going to draw a little bit of a flower. This is just going to be kind of like a peony or a rose kind of a flower. Lots of layers going on in here. Very loose. I don't know if this pen's going to work that well with this. We'll see. I mean, this is an experimental kind of a day. And we're just trying stuff. And this may be the most beautiful thing we've ever done. We don't know. We don't know. What happens when it gets really quiet? I feel like this flower is kind of hanging down. We're kind of looking at it from a very odd angle. I'm sure my hand is probably completely in the way for this. So very busy with the paper. Give it some leaves, and I mean, okay, that's something. This is not the best paper for doing this. Let's give it a little bit of a center. That's going to be yellow again. Get a little more water going on here. Give it a little bit of a center here. And then what color do we want this flower to be? And I'm going to come over here and pick up some of this orange from over here, and I'm gonna mix that in, and I'm gonna go back in and get a little bit. I don't want this like super bright. I'm gonna get a little bit of this color and mark that. So yes, we can do this. We can do it. We'll make a little bit of an orange because I said I wanted to play with orange, so we're gonna play with orange. Let's be an orange. Kind of a poppy looking thing, I think. And I'm just going to kind of start going into these folds around the edges and start there. Paper's dry, it's going to absorb this. Quite a lot of that. Facing our fear. The fear of orange today is what we're doing. Facing our fear of orange. That's not bad. I actually kind of like this. I don't know what color this is going to turn out to be. Like I said, I think it's kind of, that's nice. Nice color. Put that a little bit around in there. Then I think I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of this do you like that? Not especially. What's it going to look like on the paper? What if we add some yellow? That's going to really brighten that up. Now we're just mixing colors over here. Yeah, that. So we'll just kind of start to color this in, around, over, and everywhere. Get these petals going. Nobody said this had to be too terribly finicky. I have resisted my urge to make this a blue flower, because you know, the world is not full of blue flowers. I'm just playing here, guys. I had not a lot of plan. This is just kind of, I've been watching some things, and this is kind of just where I landed today. I still have all this beautiful green going on up here. Let's pick up some of that and just make this nice. We can cut this out. We could just stick this in a journal as it is. I'm gonna put some blue. Maybe I won't put any blue. Maybe I'll just flick a little blue around. Little blue flecks. Why not? We like it. We love blue. Okay. I'm gonna call that done. I will go back and add some like white highlights to this later. But I mean, this is not bad, and I am really I like it a lot. Okay, so that was fun. We now have a yellow flower. What else? Anything else? Do you want an echinacea? I'm kind of like thrilled with echinaceas right now. We can do one of those. And how I would do that, let's just have one again. I like to make the cones just out of these, like, build a little hive out of, like, from just making little tiny circles. And that'll be that center part of the cone flower. And then we can do some petals coming off of this down at the bottom. Opening from there. Kind of think about how, I mean, the other flower that I made was not like an actual, I don't think, real flower. So there's that, you know, you can just make up these things and you don't have to worry about things like right now where I'm like, well, how does this flower actually work? Because this is an actual flower. Mine are starting to throw out some buds, so that's exciting for me. I really love these so much, and they do so well here. Is that enough petals? What do you think? Come down. Give it a stem. There we go. If we're only going to do flower, then I think we ought to give it some leaves. We ought to give this some leaves. I'm just going to do again these big kind of strappy leaves. Some big, two big strappy leaves. Is that what they look like? Yeah, sure. Sure, this is exactly what they look like. That'll be pretty. That'll give us something we can play with. I'm going to get my smaller just put a little color on here to begin with. Why not? A little bit of that green. It's kind of a little dirty green now. Might as well just go ahead and do the leaves while we're in the green. I'm going to make this a little bit darker. Kind of a saturated color. Maybe mix in a little blue. Here we go. We're going to use this big brush. Be very bold. Why not? Oh, that's a little too green. Okay. We can fix that. We don't have to stick with that. We can lighten it up. Maybe. Did we lighten it? I'm sure we've changed it somewhat. All right. There we go. We have these olive drops. And then we've got these really dark green stem. All right. We've got that. Now we need a brown. Nice brown. I'm going to move to a smaller bit to do kind of a little bit more details. This is not super small, and it's maybe time for me to clean my brush out. I'm just going to kind of dabble that into that already very dark pencil work that I've done. There we go. There we go. Okay. That's nice. And these are traditionally purple. So let's get a little bit of purple. And let's bring it over here. We have a little bit of this pink. Oh, that is a beautiful color. I'm just mixing paints. I'm just going to kind of start filling this in. Bringing it down to the bottom. There you go. Not too shabby. It's always nice to add more than one color because that'll just give you a little bit. I like how I got some of that flecking going on there, so just a little bit. And then I think we could add just a little bit of yellow here in the center coming down with the purple. That will, of course, make this gray. Oh, yes, very good. That'll make that very, very good. We can add a little bit of that, and I'm going to grab this paper towel over here. Just grab some of that because I got it way wetter than I wanted to, and that's fine. You just dab that right up till it's where we want it. Do it again. Always nice to add some more color. Give it a little bit more. And I totally and completely missed one of these leaves on my flower. So let's go back in and definitely go back over and pick that up. Just move that color right around. I'm going to add a little bit more here where the flowers go underneath. Okay. I think I was too obsessed with staying in the lines here. So my lines didn't get really free and easy on this. Okay. It might be time to call it sort of, I don't know. I think I'm getting, it's very loose and free with up until now, and I feel like this is getting too much of like, oh, I'm trying to be a botanical illustrator and I'm not, and I'm trying to draw these things just off the top of my head, which I think that's where I'm going wrong here. I think it's much easier, much better to just kind of stay loose and free and not get too caught up in the details. Too much details. Too much trying. This one I think I like a lot more. I like the colors. I love this. Maybe it's just because I'm in a kind of 70s mood or something. I don't know, and that's kind of a golden. Just love this. This, I feel like it's too overthought, even though they're kind of similar. Too much overthinking on this one. This one's much more loose and free and kind of just like, I'm going to draw a flower. And I like that a lot more. I think that is beautiful. So I'm gonna call this, you can go back in when these are dry and add a little bit of penwork with like a not really that. These are just some white markers. They are in Chinese, so I have no idea what they are. Sorry about that. And you can just add some highlights to this and kind of go along and work it in. Don't know if that's going to work. I might have to find something else. Not with that. It won't be. But here's what we made. We made these. These are on watercolor paper, and this is just Canson watercolor paper. I will probably cut these out and use them. I will probably cut all of these flowers out to use them in my books. And then I just have some background papers that are going to be fun, and you can use these for whatever you want. You could continue to kind of add colors and layers and things. And then I just did some black speckles because I wanted to see what would happen. And that's what those look like. And those are kind of neat. And they just add a little bit of interest to, you know, what you're already doing. And it's really fun to just kind of fling paint all over the place. And this I might save for a Halloween journal. It might be my first piece of ephemera that I stick in a box to work on a Halloween book. I don't know where that's going to go. It might be coming. Could be fun. Don't usually do holidays, but for some reason I want to do Halloween. Love this. This is my favorite thing that I've made today. And then this. And I hope that you found value here. Like, subscribe, and share. Leave a comment in the down below. Let me know what you liked, what you didn't like. Find your creative inspiration. What is really driving your creative inspirations right now? And how are you? Are you trying to do anything a little bit differently and push yourself a little bit farther? Like I'm trying to kind of like work towards a more maximal feeling in my journals. And so I'm working on that, and I hope that you will continue to come back and see how that's going. Anyway, I had a lot of fun playing here with you today, and thanks for coming.